Hi everybody, I'm out in my cornfield that I had plowed, and I did some disking here the other day, and I had this rock in there, so I took my excavator out to dig this humongous boulder out of the ground, and it was all my excavator could do to get it up out of here. But I finally got it to the top of the surface here, and I am going to have to skid it out with the horses. Now this rock is quite big. I've got it up on its end right now, and this is the size of the hole it came out of, and I'm going to have to get my stone boat and put it underneath this rock so that I can pull it out. This is me standing beside this rock while it's up on its end, and give you an idea how tall this rock is. So I had to get my skid steer, and I brought the stone boat up with the skid steer and slid it underneath this boulder. And so now we'll go back and get the horses hitched up and come on out and try to move it.
Good morning, everybody. It's a bright sunny May day, and Jim has asked me to come out and film and help. He has dug up more than he thought he was gonna this morning with a big rock out in the field that he was harrowing, and he got it out with the excavator, but he can't move it with the excavator. He's going to use the horses, but 2 horses aren't going to do it. He doesn't think, so he's got all 4 hooked up, ready to go. He has the stone boat out there, right, hon?
Yeah.
It's out there, and they're going to be hooked to the stone boat with a stone on it, and we'll see how they do. This is a huge stone. Jim said to me earlier that there's something about pulling a stone. It's so much heavier, it seems, than concrete. So much heavier to pull. And he knew that, of course, 2 horses couldn't do it. I said, well, maybe 3, because I thought it'd be easier, you know, to maneuver with 3. But he said, no, this one needs 4. So he had to get the evener set up, and he knew it'd be better to get the stone on the stone boat before he got them out here so he could hook them all up. Since there's 4 of them, it's a little more difficult. And so they are just being good so far. He's been working them, so they're probably a little bit tired. Tomorrow's Sunday, so he can give them a break tomorrow. And we said a little prayer at the barn for the horses and wisdom for Jim to know how to do this and see how it goes. It's always a little bit hard when you don't know how much something weighs. So we'll see.
I expect there'll be some people out here thinking it's mean to hitch onto this big old boulder and expect these horses to pull it out. And I probably will get some bad comments even because of it, but I do ask that if you want to put a bad comment in, I would appreciate you watching some of my other videos first to see and realize that these horses do this all the time, and they're fairly well trained and usually in very good shape, and they're just like an athlete. They can do and can handle this type of work. Several of these horses have done quite a bit of pulling. Ken has not pulled as much.
Lade, you ready for this? She's always looking around.
On our first attempt to pull it, they pulled it quite a ways, and then I stopped them, and then we got into troubles. When I asked them to start the second time, Lady, Bill, and Buck, of course, have done quite a lot of pulling. They knew what to expect, and they shot out of there pretty fast. And Ken just could not even begin to get up there. and so he kind of came right backwards, and we got into a big mess, and they knocked the evener off the stone boat, which was good, and it was enough of a mess up that I don't even want to show it, so I edited it out. I personally don't want to see it again, and I surely don't think you guys want to see that mess up. And it's one of those situations where I was completely not in control, and if it weren't for the grace of God, something could have happened that would have been really bad. So I'm sure every time I think of this situation again, I'm just going to be thanking God for His mercies to us that day. So I get the tugs all unhitched, and then I got to decide what I'm going to do.
Your bolts are in the ground there.
Oh, I'll come running if they move. Well, a few minutes, but I know something I could do.
It's just they're gonna be so hyper getting hooked on now. Sure you want to do this?
Him starting,
Made him stop.
well, just took him right back, and he just wouldn't start fast enough. If he was on the opposite side, he could handle it. It went pulling back into the thing, you know. If he dragging slack, it should be on this outside.
But will he try now because he knows what it is this time?
It's just that he was so far behind.
Because they start so much faster.
Yeah. Let me drive over the excavator. I want to try something. All right, half us down. We gotta get out of the field.
So this is what I decided to do. I took Ken and changed him around and put him on the outside and slid the Belgians over, so it was Ken, Lady, Bill, and Buck.
I think Buck's trying to get over to Ken.
Driving 4 horses, I've done a lot of line adjusting, and by changing this around like I just did, I don't have them adjusted quite right, so I'm adjusting a little bit right there to help bring Buck over, but it's always fun to try new adjustments, and this is not exactly the time to be doing it, but I am. When you have horses whether they're pulling horses or just any type of horse, if they've had to pull a heavy load like this, when they go back to hitch on the second time, they're usually quite nervous. And these guys were nervous, but I was just very pleased how well they did, all things considered. We not only pulled a heavy load, but then they got into quite a mishap, and that nerves them up all the more. But they were, under the circumstances, they were very, very good. I was very pleased. So we get them hitched up eventually here. I'd have to say this is probably one of the most challenging things I've done in my career working with horses. If you've never been in a situation like this, you don't quite understand it, but I know a lot of guys have been in situations like this, and it's very stressful. It's a very difficult situation to be in, and you have to really keep your cool and stay calm, because the horses can sense your feelings, and if you are all nervous, they're going to be all the more nervous. So it's very important to just stay very calm and to be able to get them hitched up. You'll see they keep trying to see if they can start the load before I tell them to, and that's just very normal under the circumstances. But like I said, all things considered, I was very pleased at how well they did. I still have to hitch up Buck before I can go.
No. 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 Like a pie.
And off we go. And they pulled good.
Oh! Oh! Oh!
It's almost as
Oh!
Bill looked like he was swallowed up in the middle there.
Oh!
You did good though.
Oh! 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 Oh!
My line adjustment was still messed up a little bit. I hated to do it, but I quick ran up and adjusted a little bit on Ken's bit to make it so they would pull better together.
Ow! 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 Like that. Ow!
So we make it off the field and up to the fence row, and realized I hadn't shut the fence row off or opened up the fence to be able to get through to put this rock on the fence, on the stone wall. And so I had to ask Brenda to run all the way down to the garage and unplug the fencer, and then she did that and jumped on her bike and rode back, and now she's got to take the fence posts out and unhitch the wire so I can get through.
Another one?
Brenda had to pull out a second fence post so I could get through.
Boy,
And girl.
Mafia.
Good job, you guys. You did it. Good job. Proud, proud.
Over. Oh.
So glad to get that job done. It's awful hard to see where you're going when you got 4 big horses walking in front of you.
Oh, there's a fence. Please, Lord, don't let him get caught in that fence.
No. 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 No.
Still
No.
attached to the fence post.
Oh.
There we go.
G. Yeah.
I'll try.
I would not try it, but I don't know.
Yeah, I know. Closing thoughts?
Phew.
Few is right. That was a little terrifying for me.
So now I have to fill up the hole and go take that big boulder off my stone boat. While I'm filling the hole, I try to put all the stones in the bottom of the hole, so it'll be many years before they actually push themselves to the surface again, so I don't have to pick these stones. So we'll dump these into the hole, and then we'll pull all this dirt into the hole. And I actually came up with a skid steer with a load of topsoil, because in the process of doing work like this, you tend to get more of the subsoil at the top and not all your good topsoil. So I'm going to fill the hole, and then I will put the bucket load of good barnyard dirt on top. There, all filled in, just trying to smooth out some of my track ruts, and so that it won't take so much harrowing to get this ready for corn. So here, coming over the skid steer and just dumping this good barnyard dirt right on top of where the hole was, in case the subsoil is too close to the top. It would just help it in that spot. And then I want to run over with this bucket and see if I can possibly roll the stone off of the stone boat. So my skid steer is a New Holland 160, pretty good sized machine, and as you can see, I can't even begin to roll this rock off my stone boat. Out in the plowed ground, I tried to push this rock and I could not do it at all. I thought maybe in this sod I could flip this rock over, but I couldn't even do that. So I decided I'd go around to the backside and just pull it off with the bucket, although I did get pretty close to rolling it over with the blade. Even with the bucket, it was still quite a challenge to get this rock off. I had to take one side and kind of swing it one way, and then swing around, grab the other side, and swing it the other way. But we finally got it off. But just tells you how heavy this thing is, and those horses were able to pull it up out of that field. And so that was really great to be able to do and to show you. So I hope you enjoyed the video. You have a great day.